Holy Week has many beautiful services, all of them deeply moving, some of them intensely emotional. One of my favourites, one of the most moving for me, is the service on Maundy Thursday tonight, when we remember the Last Supper, the setting of the Last Supper, or perhaps we should call it the First Supper, because it's the first time that Jesus took bread and wine, broke it, blessed it, shared it with his disciples, and said, "This is my body, this is my blood." The gospel for the night is from John chapter 13, which is this incident where Jesus takes off his robes, puts a towel around his waist and picks up a basin, and then kneels in front of each of his disciples in turn and washes their feet. I vividly remember the first time I had my feet washed. I was at theological college more than 40 years ago, and the principal of the college, in every way a big man, got down on his knees in front of me, a first-year student, and he washed my feet. It was profoundly embarrassing and yet incredibly moving. As having dried my feet, he looked into my eyes and he said, "Frank, Christ loves you." The word Maundy Thursday comes from the Latin meaning to command. And it comes, of course, or refers to the end of the gospel reading for tonight, when Jesus says, "I give you a new commandment. I give you a new commandment. Love one another, even as I have loved you." The service moves on, and we celebrate the great festival of the Eucharist. We receive the body and the blood, the bread and the wine, and then instead of having a lovely procession out of the cathedral, the altar is stripped, the lights go out, and people leave in chaos. But just before that happens, the sacrament, the bread and the wine, the consecrated bread and wine, are taken off the high altar, and anything that is in the aumbry is taken out of there, and it is processed around to the Lady Chapel, where it's placed on the Lady Chapel altar, surrounded by candles, and it becomes a chapel of peace and of prayer, reminding us that Jesus called on his disciples to stay with him, to watch with him through the night as he prayed. Our aumbry, which not many people will have seen, especially not the inner door, which you can see on your screen at the moment, is beautifully decorated with a pelican. The pelican is an ancient symbol of the Eucharist. It is said that the pelican plucks the feathers from its own breast until it bleeds in order to feed its young. You can see the symbolism, the power of that symbolism at this Eucharist.